The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's November the 1st, 2024. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined this morning by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, and Stephen Wagner, as we discuss the news of the day, presented today by Game Time, your ultimate authority for all your ticketing needs, whether it be Canes games, theater shows, concerts, NBA, NHL, NFL, whatever it is, Game Time has you covered when it's time to buy tickets for the event or game. We'll talk more about Game Time here in a little bit. And today's show is also sponsored by Caneswear, your ultimate authority for all your Miami Hurricanes merchandise needs. You can hit up Caneswear on your way to Hard Rock Stadium for the Duke game. They're 15 minutes north. You stop by, you pick up your stuff, you go to the game, and Caneswear will have you covered no matter what you want or need. Guys, the hype is slowly building for this one. Manny Diaz coming back to town. And the more I think about this, where I find the intrigue is going to be how Manny approaches this game. I mean, obviously Miami's got better personnel. I don't think you could argue that. Manny's going to have to make a choice, okay? If he watches the FSU tape and sees the way FSU plays defense and he sits back and makes Miami pound him, I think Miami will pound him just like they pounded FSU. And I don't think he's got the same personnel really on the defensive side in terms of athleticism that FSU has. That's not Manny's style. Manny's style is to come after Miami. And if he does that, then obviously everything offensively is on the table for the Hurricanes, and the game is going to be determined by how Miami picks up the blitz and then exploits the obvious openings that will be in Manny Diaz's defense. So really, really interesting, Matt. Does Manny play it safe and try to keep it close, or does he go for it and take chances like Manny Diaz typically would do?
I mean, look, this defense is what Duke thrives on so far this season, right? They're 6-2, 2-2 in the ACC. Their offense is one of the worst in the country, just numbers-wise, statistically, and production-wise. And they haven't gone up against a lot of good offenses. They certainly haven't gone up against an offense like Miami's. The closest thing they've gone up against was, honestly, last weekend against SMU. And guess what? SMU turned the ball over 6 times in the game and still had 469 yards of offense against Duke's vaunted defense. If they didn't turn it over 6 times, if they turned it over 3 times, they'd have 550 yards of offense. If they didn't turn it over at all, they'd have 650 yards of offense. Like, this is a blitzing, aggressive Duke defense that has a lot of holes that were exposed by SMU. And if Miami doesn't turn the ball over, they're going to have 35-plus points and 500-plus yards, you know. And Miami has not been turning the ball over. I mean, the talent level on this team, it's like Yankees versus Dodgers, Lifetime Fitness versus UFit, Stone Crabs versus Zucchini, Matt Shodell versus Gary Ferman. You know, you name the good versus the bad. And like, that's what this is. Miami is good in so many areas. And Duke is like sort of a mirage, a little bit on defense. Like, I understand they're thriving on turnovers, okay? But turnovers are not a guarantee. A great offense is a guarantee. You're going to get yards. You know, turnovers, you have to have a player on offense make a mistake, not protect the ball correctly, make a bad read, throw a bad pass. It's sort of it's subjective, not objective, right? It can happen, but it's not necessarily going to happen. You know, Lifetime Fitness has a sauna, a steam room, a cold plunge, a whirlpool. I was there with my friend yesterday because he gets one guest pass every 2 months, he claims. I think he gets one every week, but he doesn't want to take me again. They give you towels. You know, I belong to UFit. No towel service, no sauna, no steam room, no cold plunge, no whirlpool, broken equipment. You know, I love it. Like, that's where I go because I can walk there. But, you know, that's Duke. Duke is a little bit broken. And Miami is this shiny object that's just like perfect compared to Duke, in my opinion. So, you know, I think it's going to be a blowout. That's my opinion.
I mean, it does figure to be that. Certainly, I mean, you know, you look at Manny Diaz takes over. Mike Elko goes to Texas A&M. and 17 players immediately leave. And these were the best players on the team. They went to places like Georgia, Notre Dame, Auburn, Virginia Tech, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So Manny hits the portal himself, brings in 20 players of his own. I'm not sure that they were the same quality of the ones that left, but he somehow has been able to pull this whole thing together by putting a decent defensive team out there. And they're number 33 in the nation in total defense, number 13 in passing yards allowed, number 11 in third down conversion percentage defense. Some people aren't going to like me saying this, but I think they're doing it on Manny's coaching, Matt. I think they're doing it on his coaching.
Georgia Tech is probably the next best offense they played. Georgia Tech had over 400 yards. I don't think Miami's given up more than 400 yards except for one game all year. And Miami's defense is not good. But no one's crowing about Miami's defense, right? But everyone's like, oh, Duke's defense. Aside from Georgia Tech and SMU, they've played Florida State, one of the worst offenses in the country. They played Middle Tennessee, UConn, Northwestern, Elon, and North Carolina. There's not anywhere near Miami level of offense. So Duke is going to be not really prepared for this. I mean, SMU prepared them a little bit, Miami's minor league team, right? You play the minor league, you play AAA, then you play the major league team. But you can't practice what Miami does on offense in terms of the speed of receivers, the quickness of the receivers, right? The strength of Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher just powering through tackles and arm tackles. There are things that Miami can do now, finally, we haven't been able to say this for a while, that other teams can't necessarily emulate with their scout team so well. And then there's sort of this, sort of a panic when you realize, wait a minute, these guys are a lot faster, stronger than anything we faced. Duke has not faced anything. This is not playing a seasoned ACC team that's already played against Clemson and played against, Pittsburgh, right? SMU is like a smaller, quicker team. They thrive on their offense. I think Miami's brute force up front will overwhelm Duke. I think Cam Ward is going to have a huge day passing us an average secondary, in my opinion. And I just think they're going to score a lot of points, And you say, can Duke keep it close? They'll probably try to do a little bit of what FSU did, right? Except Manny likes to blitz heavily, not just bringing 5. He'll try to bring 6, Yeah. And good luck to him with a guy who can get out of the pocket. And I don't see them stopping Miami. I don't
know if I see him just sitting there and letting them pound them into oblivion. I think I agree with you.
They can do both. They can do both is my point. But my point is they can run against this Duke team for sure. They can just overpower Duke, but they also can throw on Duke. This is not going to be a situation where, we can only do one, not both. They can do both.
I totally agree. But what I'm saying is Manny's going to go for it. He's going for it. He's coming, and he's going to lose. Yeah, he's going to lose doing what he does.
Listen, if he insists on blitzing like crazy the whole game, Miami's going to put up 70. I mean, good luck to them. Miami will be running free constantly. I hope. I don't care. They're going to win. So what I want to see, what I care about, I want to see the defense continue to not give up points to a really bad offense, okay, and show maybe some glimmer of hope when a good offense comes back to town the last few games. And then on offense, I really want to see the tight ends reintegrated. I asked Cam Ward specifically when he was available about the last couple of games. I said, I can't remember my exact verbiage, but it was something along the lines of, I said rhyme or reason. I don't know if you understood what that meant. It's an old saying. I said, is there a rhyme or a reason to the tight ends the last couple of games not being utilized as much in the passing game? And Cam was nice enough to pretend he understood what that meant. And he said that, the receivers often are the first read, and he didn't really have to come off of them, which is great. But I do think that you need to, at some point, feed the tight ends to keep a defense honest. And I love the idea. I haven't seen enough of the tight ends, how they pretend they're blocking on an RPO, and then bam, and they're past whoever it is that thinks they're staying in to block, and they're free all day long. Those are the kinds of plays I want to see. I know people don't like screens to the running backs, but Damian Martinez can run wheel routes, right? It doesn't have to be just a little screen. He can go downfield and catch passes, and they need to integrate that. Use him. Because when you're playing whoever it may be down the road, okay, eventually, hopefully a Georgia or whoever, Texas, you need every single weapon in your arsenal to keep up with them because they're going to score on this defense. We know this. It's not going to be all of a sudden – with the personnel we already know Miami has after 8 games, that Miami's defense is going to be, oh my gosh, eureka. There's no eureka moment with this defense. Okay, it is what it is. If Miami's lucky, they'll become a middle-of-the-road ACC defense instead of a bottom-third ACC defense overall, well, especially passing defense. And then the offense has to keep up with those teams. And if the offense can't keep up with those teams, they will lose in the playoffs. So they need every single weapon at their disposal because some of these other teams they're going to face have really, really good pass rushes, really, really good secondaries, excellent linebacker play. And against each of those teams, you're going to need to use different facets of your offense to create mismatches. And, with Shannon Dawson going to Rice, maybe there'll be a new coordinator by then who actually can do all this stuff. So I'm very hopeful this will happen.
I can't believe this, but I actually agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, I agree with everything you said. And if for those of you that want to know more about Duke, we're not going to go on and on about the Dukies, but we do have stories on the website, Advancing the Game. Make sure you check those out. They bring you totally up to speed on Duke. I'm going to space these out a little bit on this show because I got in my trouble last time. If you need tickets for this game, any other game this year, NFL games, concerts, gametime.co by way of the Game Time app is your way to go. And I've started using Game Time in the last several months, and I got to tell you, I couldn't be happier with the experience. They have this feature called Game Time Picks, which makes getting your tickets to your event the easiest you will ever experience anywhere. And they filter out all the fluff. They show you only the best seats at the best prices. You don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets looking for what you really need at the end of the day. Game Time does that. They have last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, even up to an hour after the event has begun. They have a lowest price guarantee. If there's a cheaper seat available somewhere else, they will credit you 110% of the difference. And the thing that I love the most is they have a little toggle switch that you can ask for all-in pricing. So when what you see is what you get, you don't have to try to get an accountant to figure out all the crazy fees that are going to get added to your ticket. You get the full price right there in front of you, and you can make your purchase literally in seconds. It's so easy. So it comes with some little assurances, like if you lose your job, you need a refund on your tickets. Game Time will take care of you, and they'll refund you and allow you to recoup what you're spending on the event. If the event's canceled, they'll refund you within 24 hours. Game Time absolutely has this whole ticket thing totally figured out. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets. You download the Game Time app, or you can go gametime.co, not .com. Create an account, make your first purchase, use the code ON3, and they will give you $20 off your first purchase. So create an account, redeem your code ON3 for $20 off. Terms apply. Buy your tickets in a couple taps. What time is it? It's game time if you need tickets for any event. All right, I'm going to jump right now to the thing that I'm most excited about this weekend, and that's recruiting, okay? Because Miami, once again, got to credit the job that Mario and the staff are doing. Very impressive. They have 3 2026 five-star players coming in this weekend. That you got a 5-star plus offensive tackle, Jackson Cantwell. He'll be visiting Miami for the first time this weekend. He's the consensus #1 offensive tackle in next year's class. He's got 31 offers. This kid is a big-time player. He'll be here this weekend. You got 5-star edge Anthony Tank Jones. He might be a junior in high school, but he's got a nickname already, Tank. They call him the Tank. He's an edge rusher. It looked like he was going to visit last week for the Florida State game, but he never made it to South Florida. But he now is hoping to get in this weekend, so we expect to see him there. And then there's a tight end, 5-star tight end by the name of Kendra Harrison. He's a 2-sport star that's also expected to visit this weekend, along with a whole lineup of other prospects from all different recruiting classes, all the way up to 2029. There's a 2029 recruit, a quarterback, Dylan Costa, who will be among the recruit contingent this weekend. Stephen Wagner, you got the microphone. Break this thing down for us. What's going on with all these recruits this weekend?
It's about damn time. I kind of wanted to just go to sleep. But this is so last week, obviously it focused really heavily on a lot of the 2025 guys, had a bunch of really major flip targets. Ben Hanks ended up making the trip. TJ Alford was down. Jarquez Carter was down. All of those are blue chip guys. Um, Initially last week we were expecting DJ Pickett to make the trip, the 5-star cornerback. He ended up not coming down, but still, you get the idea. Last week was about the 25s. Well, this week is going to be about the 26s. Miami's 26 visitor list this weekend is absolutely loaded. There's a boatload of really, really high end players. Jalen Waters, the Florida cornerback commit, is going to be there as well. So is Darion Williams, the 4-star Florida State linebacker commit. But really, I think everyone's attention is going to be centered around the 3 5-star guys that are going to be getting to campus. And like we said, that's going to be Jackson Cantwell, Kendra Harrison, and then, of course, Anthony Jones. Cantwell has been in contact with Miami staff for quite a while now. It's been Alex Mirabal, it's been Edwin Pata, and it's been Mario Cristobal that have just kind of been hammering, over and over and over again. Look at what we are building in Miami. Look at what we have done, and look at what we are starting to do now. And then with a guy like Kendra Harrison, last year, back in the spring, whenever Miami was able to go ahead and lock in those 2024 tight end commits, I think that they immediately 2025 tight end commits. I think they immediately looked to next year's class and kind of started thinking to themselves, man, if we've already got our 2 tight ends locked up for this year, why can't we start taking a peek at next year? Why can't we start chipping away at some of these guys? Why can't we make a very serious run at Kendra Harrison, who right now is the consensus number 1 tight end in the cycle? He's a 2-sport star who plays basketball too, and he's made clear he wants to play basketball at the college level. That's going to be something that's important to him. He does hold a Miami offer for basketball as well, but certainly Cody Waddell, the tight ends coach, and Mario Cristobal, they would love to have him for football. And then Anthony Jones, that's a guy that Miami's just been kind of working on for a while. We initially expected him to visit last weekend for the Florida State game. He never actually ended up making the trip, but we are expecting him to actually end up getting down this weekend. So that's where a bulk of the focus is going to be, and rightly so, because all 3 of those guys are, superstars. Harrison is the consensus number 1 is the number 1 consensus tight end in the class. Cantwell is the number 1 consensus offensive tackle. And then obviously Anthony Jones in the On3 industry ranking, he's the number 1 edge. So a lot of excitement about the group of guys getting down.
You look at the list of kids coming in and you see the thoroughness of all the different classes that are represented in this thing. And it's really shows us that the Mario Cristobal recruiting, I'll call it program, so to speak, philosophy, whatever you want to call it, is really starting to take hold. Like now they got their legs under them. They've been here for a few years now. And they are now working classes ahead to build relationships, getting to know kids and stuff like that. And it's going to pay dividends for many years to come, obviously. Now that, the frantic time where Mario had to turn the entire roster is, I think, now behind Miami. And there'll still be some attrition. They're going to want to hit the transfer portal again for sure. And some guys that aren't playing, that don't look like their prospects for playing anytime soon or so good, are going to probably depart or be asked to depart in some way, shape, or form. That's not going to ever change, I don't think. But it shouldn't be the wholesale thing that we've been seeing in the years past, which will make Matt Shodell happy. He won't be freaking out every day about how many portal additions they're having to take. And hopefully the ones that they take will be what he would like to call free agents. So I'm loving what I'm seeing here in recruiting. And we will have coverage of all these visits over the weekend. So make sure you're checking us out. later in the day on Saturday into Sunday and Monday. We will have full coverage of all these recruiting visits for you guys, in addition, obviously, to our coverage of the Duke game. At the beginning of the show, I mentioned Caneswear. And listen, it's not, I know it's November, but it's not too late to gear up. If you haven't had time to go get yourself some new Cane stuff, you don't have your Cam Ward jersey yet, no better time than now to get over to Caneswear if you're local and load up on some stuff. Huge crowds last week, but they've restocked the shelves. They got a lot of everything we're talking about: T-shirts, jerseys, polos, hoodies, hats, flags, decals, magnets. Let's say you're tailgating for the first time on Saturday before the game, you can even go in there. They'll sell you your tables and chairs for your tailgate, and then you can pop next door to La Spada Sub Shop and get yourself food, and voila, just like that, you got your tailgate. So get up early on Saturday, go over to Caneswear. They're going to be open at 7 a.m. for all you Canes fans that want to hit them before you go to the stadium. Get yourself some stuff, get yourself some food next door, and enjoy what hopefully will be a nice day on Saturday. Sizes aren't an issue. They got men's, women's, kids, babies. Matt Shodell hates this, but they will even dress your pet at Caneswear.
I don't hate it. The pets hate it.
I've never seen a pet that hates to wear clothes. It keeps them warm. They look fresh. I mean, I don't see any issues with the pets wearing their little pet outfit.
Have you seen the Halloween outfits for the pets where they put them in like a Freddy Krueger thing, and as they're walking, the knife's going like this? I mean, it's
there were a few of those walking around my neighborhood last night.
That I like, but the sweaters and the hoof, the nice little things to cover their hoofs.
I saw a couple.
They're not paws. Those animals have hoofs.
I saw a couple dogs in costumes last night when the kids were coming around trick or treating.
The dog has no say. It's like it's not right.
But Caneswear, 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Like I said, it's 15 minutes north of Hard Rock Stadium. If you live out of town and you can't make it to the store, go to caneswear.com, get yourself whatever you want or need. They will take care of you. And then, of course, Christmas season's coming up, holiday season's coming up, and you can get all the gifts you need at Caneswear as well for your friends, family, significant others. They will have you covered over at Caneswear. All right, guys.
Steven, what did you go for as Halloween last night? How much candy you get?
Puxatawny Phil, Groundhog Day.
And how much candy you get?
What was your costume? What was your costume?
Puxatawny Phil, Groundhog Day.
He's a
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's a groundhog.
I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I don't know. I've never actually heard it said.
Right. Did you try to blend in with the little kids when you were asking for candy? Like you sort of go up to the door with the little kids and you hold your little jack-o'-lantern and you try to get your little candy in there, or what?
Yeah, that was exactly it. I told them the mustache was fake. I was actually 8 years old. I'm not capable
actually in the
of
class of
growing,
2029. I'm 10 years old. I'm in the class of 2029.
That's it. Exactly. I'm still going through puberty.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
All right. Well, we thank you guys for starting out your day with us.
By the way, did you see your shadow or not? I wasn't sure on that one either.
I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it.
Either. What does that mean? Winter's going to be shorter, or you're a vampire? I think you're probably just a vampire, is my guess.
Oh, I was gonna say I think that just means incompetence.
We thank you guys for joining us this morning on Good Morning CaneSport. Have a great day. Enjoy the game this weekend. We'll have tons of coverage for you on the website. We'll watch you implode on the message boards if it doesn't go perfectly. That's always fun. So for Matt Shodell and Stephen Wagner, I'm Gary Ferman. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time, everybody.